In tonight's top story, Lesotho's cross-border drivers and the hawkers they transport are up to their nose in the taxi mafia's shit.
And no, not the snuff brand that's had a monopoly in the Southern African market for decades is Arehemis.
They're being blocked by a different kind of taxi mafia.
And it seems South Africa's love for green and gold has gone beyond their sports team colors. Now the taxi associations are going after Lesotho's green and gold too.
They've turned themselves into the 94 Springboks, aggressively blocking all blacks from scoring on Mzansi's side.
And you know what takes the cup? They are now preventing Lesotho from doing business in SA if they do not use South Africa's public transport.
Right. Because apparently, Lesotho isn't doing much for South Africa's economy. Even though it's completely landlocked by Mzansi, shares the currency one-to-one and contributes millions to South Africa's GDP. Again, because it doesn't have many other options.
I mean, there's a pattern here. I just can't prove it.
Yes, reports say South African taxi associations, and I use that word loosely because when people with AK-47s hold a meeting, it's not an association. Kinamba number.
Kima no more. No more is 60 tau.
They are harassing Lesotho's commuters and hawkers, aka Bommatoto le Boratoto, who rely on taxis to travel to Mzansi or Latastoko.
And you know, normally when citizens are shaken down by a foreign mafia, you'd expect their leaders to step in, say something. But Lesotho's prime minister and ministers, they've gone quieter than the side chick that he married man.
And if you think we're exaggerating about the mafia part, here's proof. Just last week Wednesday, Thamsanqa Moyo, chairman of the Gauteng National Taxi Alliance, was shot dead in Soweto.
Ambush on the highway and his car got lit up by an unknown number of gunmen.
This wasn't random either. Moyo had been in a turf war over routes between the Witwatersrand African Taxi Association and the Nansfield Dube West Association. Try saying that 3 times.
This isn't transport. It's not business. It's a cartel. It's Pablo Escobar on wheels. The only difference is, at least Escobar delivered on time.
Let's be clear. Taxis aren't just transportation to and from Lesotho. They're the lifeline. They're how workers get to their jobs, how traders move goods, and how most Basotho get to leave behind Tlala for greener pastures.
Yeah, so when the South African taxi bosses decide to treat Basotho commuters as their own personal cash cow, this isn't a side issue.
And yet, silence from the government. It's as if they're saying, look, the mafia might be violent, but at least got VIP protection. And the worst part, these taxi mafia guys are more annoying in Kufita Bongamti. You know, those guys who volunteer to fill potholes with sand, rocks, broken bricks, and then demand cash from the motorists after. At least those guys fix something. The mafia, they don't patch holes. They make them. With bullets. But hey, maybe the ministers are just scared. Standing up to the South African taxi mafia isn't easy. These guys treat a traffic jam like it's a military checkpoint. And the South African government has no leash on them.
Sure. And South Africa is a country that we are literally always in bed with. Which makes the whole thing feel like being in bed with a soft parenting mother of one. Wana haiwak
and takes a shit.
A shit, bro. In your new kicks.
You're still in bed, sure, but good luck pretending it's not going to end in tears after that.
So we wait in silence. The government acts like it's allergic to responsibility, hoping the problem just disappears. Like
Meanwhile, commuters risk their safety daily.
While ministers risk nothing but indigestion from another overpriced caterer's lunch. From a catering company that belongs to one of them.
So here's the bottom line. Lesotho's commuters are stuck between two dangerous forces, the South African taxi mafia and their own government's criminal negligence.
Yeah, and if you think that's harsh, just remember, one of these groups carries the gun and the other carries the silencer.
That's the joke, but also the tragedy, because right now your life as a Lesotho commuter costs less than a minister's lunch allowance. You've been watching the Manyority Report with Dumi J. Svisi
And Khatang Mantswe, same time, more nonsense next week.